Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Look. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Shit. Scratching bitches off just like the lottery. She made a mistake, grammatical apostrophe. Yeah. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Baby, come fuck with the monopoly. PC, the whole ain't nobody hot as me. Searching for somebody hotter, why you even bother? Girl, I'm toasty where the oven be, and I keep the heat. There a nigga try and follow me. Back from the bank, catch a nigga in the kitchen, brains on the kitchen sink. I ain't playing with these niggas too deep in the game. Balls deep in your bitch, and I want that you don't claim. Girl, don't you lie to me. In the sea, mini fish, your baby, they piranhas. I don't need no drama or no teeth. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. If she don't suck, then she obviously not a freak. Probably not for the team. I'ma keep it honest, G. Prophesy the prophecy. Look, I am me. No one can relate how no one can compare. But you better know I pour that hair one in that dairy, yeah. Like my pussy nice and sweet. Let me taste it, let me feast. Big dog, he gotta eat. On the west and out the east. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Shit. Scratching bitches off just like the lottery. She made a mistake, grammatical apostrophe. Yeah. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Baby, come fuck with a monopoly. PC, the whole ain't nobody hot as me. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Shit. Scratching bitches off just like the lottery. She made a mistake, grammatical apostrophe. Yeah. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Yeah. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Baby, come fuck with a monopoly. PC, the whole ain't nobody hot as me.
Ain't nobody hot as me. I'm the type to fit that cylinder in her isosceles. Shit, she probably fucking, but it's not for free. What's the CashApp? Bitch, you'll have a nigga pay your fee. Yeah, I can see just how you whine me. Pouring out of me is this misogyny is riding me. Pick apart the beat up, pick apart the pee. Like how the fuck you let them niggas feed your ass that riding me? Got these bitches salivating over me, holding back every tender dictatorship of the ovaries. Notably said these niggas is white. They too controlling, be calling P like I'm calling power head in the rotary. Shit, if she don't fuck, then she not for me. Cop a plea, a cop a feel, you still can't catch a nut from me. Shit, fuck her fresh about that poverty. Feed her anorexic, think she probably need the calories.
If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Shit. Scratching bitches off just like the lottery. She made a mistake, grammatical apostrophe. Yeah. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Baby, come fuck with a monopoly. PC, the whole ain't nobody hot as me. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Shit. Scratching bitches off just like the lottery. She made a mistake, grammatical apostrophe. Yeah. If she don't fuck, then she not for me. Shit. If she don't suck, then she not for me. Baby, come fuck with a monopoly. PC, the whole ain't nobody hot as me. Me.
no beef. Light a fall, light a ski, light a spaz on a beat. I'm a crab in a barrel. I rock Gucci full of barrel. I'm a crib, I'm a snitch. I'ma get you niggas hit. I'm a mark, I'm a sob, I'm a phony, I'm a fraud. I'm a fuck all on your broad. I'm a tell all of my dogs. I'm a rip, I'm a syrup. I'm not pissed, I'm the shit. I got bricks in my grip. I'm a stack to make some flip. See, I get it, how I live. Run they back to the crib. I'm a Sean with a deal. Only big bins with a steel. Only right bins, color kill. Only white friends, kid pill. When I fuck hoes, make it spill. Shot it from the shot, so I drill. Baby, tie, pay your bills. I'm a little hot, 2 drops in the eye. 2 teardrops, that's 2 in the thigh. I'm a dead man for the 1025. Lot of cash, lot of booze, lot of pills, lot of weed. Gotta smoke, I'm a cheese, snatch it, grab. Gotta eat, gotta beat. I'm a beast, ain't no time for no beat. Light a fall, light a ski, light a spaz on a beat. Lot of cash, lot of booze, lot of pills, lot of weed. Gotta smoke, I'm a cheese, snatch it, grab. Gotta eat, gotta beat. I'm a beast, ain't no time for no beat. Light a fall, light a ski, light a spaz on a beat.
7 bands ago, my nigga. You said 7? Yeah, 7 bands ago. Yeah. Hey,
See, a lot of niggas giving praise to the 6 a weaker entity. Jehovah Witness, listen to me, I'm about to pop my screw and into this. See, I'm so fucking water fluent in my speech. Abomination, speak of poor nation, we got whoring in your sleep, but walking, talking free. Fucking Massabini, psychiatric key. The way that pressures me. See how you know I'm trapping? Because I'm rapping and I'm flipping these words like a bat. The devil's in the crafting, or the crapping, so he's sinking my shit with the captain. I'll pop this automatic. Pull up with the stick and blast. Fucking in me, pray that my bullets made of plastic. Niggas asking why I fucking rap so spastic. See where I'm from? It's cutthroat, that's a knife or an eye. The rock's at the throne, that's a no-no. We'll make sure that you die. The morning sun only comes for the man who keeps sin in his life. I love this gun, and ain't that for the prism right between his eyes. I've been serving all my life, I chill when I'm supposed to reside. No Barcelona or fucking Dubai. I've been the king of the trap all my life. I started looking in his eyes when he died. He couldn't look in my face cause of pride. You seem defeated, it's all in your mind. Securing the back just to fuck up the pride. Lot of cash, lot of booze, lot of pills, lot of weed. Gotta smoke, I'm a cheese, snatch it, grab. Gotta eat, gotta beat. I'm a beast, ain't no time for no beef. Light a fall, light a ski, light a spaz on a beat. Lot of cash, lot of booze, lot of pills, lot of weed. Gotta smoke, I'm a cheese, snatch it, grab. Gotta eat, gotta beat. I'm a beast, ain't no time for no beef. Light a fall, light a ski, light a spaz on a beat.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Quarantino Da GAWD coming at you live and direct. And today we have a very special topic. So we have to break this down because, you know, I saw this special and it definitely relates to a lot of the red vitamin content. So I must, you know, present you guys with the information that I have found on this Hillsong church. Now, I've got some solutions for Hillsong. So this is going to be a very fair assessment of the situation. Obviously, they're screwed from the perception wise, but quite frankly, I'm not even going to lie. This story is probably going to get swept under the rug because Hillsong is prosperity preaching, prosperity church, prosperity. You know, they're saying, oh, you know, be good, this and the third, and you know, God's just going to automatically bring you fortune, which we all know that that is not the case. Okay. So let me get my headphones right. Got to get comfortable before we break this thing down. All right. But yes, Hillsong, they have been exposed. And I want you guys to understand why these certain people are doing these things. Okay. They're obviously living the hypocrite life. They're preaching something that they're not walking in. And for that, we have to expose them. we have to show the people, because anybody who is snuggling up to celebrities and they're supposed to be a religious organization, I always question, not saying that celebrities can't be religious, but when they bring in certain people, you already know, what type of things that they're getting into, why they are connecting themselves with these certain celebrities, and so on and so forth. So I am absolutely going to bring to you guys' attention exactly what's going on. So without further ado, you already know what it is. We're going to get into it.
Times for the celebrity church Hillsong. It's been revealed this weekend. High-profile leader Brian Houston, who founded the hugely successful organisation, has now stepped down from its multiple boards. He faces court next month, accused of concealing child sexual abuse, a charge he denies. Tonight, though, we reveal more damaging accusations about the church. Two brave women who say they were violated by other Hillsong members. But what makes these attacks even more disturbing is the megachurch's response, and indifference to the victims suffering so heartless it would surely make Jesus.
So these guys are absolutely using their position in this church to, take advantage of girls, young girls, and they're getting Me Too'd, okay? All of these things are coming out to light, especially how certain dudes move. And on this channel, we talk about the women and how they move. Well, it's time to talk about the men today. We're going to talk about how to avoid situations like this. And it's going to take an odd twist that you may not expect. But I want to talk about this. These guys are on paper, okay? On paper, they are quote unquote high value. All right. They're quote unquote high value. Okay. So the fact that these dudes, they got bread, they got money, they've done the quote unquote work. They built up the church. They've made it modern. They've appealed to the young crowd, and they have made certain connections that have got them extra exposure. Okay. So you could consider them high value. You really could. Like, you could say, oh, they're high value men. They got their thing going. Look, that's cool. All right. This is where I might have to concede on certain points because, we talk about not paying for the WAP on this channel. But, these guys at this point, when you're at this level, you're not necessarily paying for WAP. You're paying for the discretion, and you're paying for no type of scandals or anything like that. Okay. With a lot of these women, who are Tatianas, they can, for one, be discredited easier. Okay. If they're saying that, not that you took the WAP, but if they're just saying, oh, I was his mistress, whatever. Okay. You can pretty much deny those claims a lot easier than you can deny the allegations of taking WAP that these guys are under. Okay. But at this point, at this level, even though it would be hella hypocritical, we would much rather heard that, oh, they were dealing with, ladies of the night, OnlyFans girls. They were DMing OnlyFans girls, saying how much to give food out. Yeah, I mean, so if they were doing something like that, then it would be a lot more forgivable, a lot less egregious. Oh, okay, these guys, they're holy men, but at the same time, they're trying to get in some hole. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like, we could understand that, but what they are doing.
Hillsong comes from pretty humble, some might say hokey beginnings. While many other churches date back thousands of years, Hillsong was only founded in the northwestern suburbs of Sydney 38 years ago.
make sure that we're awake and
But since then, it's been a miraculous, meteoric rise for this Pentecostal movement.
So if you guys are a little confused right now about the music, especially, this is what white people church looks like. I know we're used to the Kirk Franklin, hit me, oh yeah, we got a witness over here. You know what I mean? Like, we're used to a different type of vibe. This is what white church looks like. You know what I'm saying? It's more, the hymnals are, less upbeat, more whole notes, half speed. And yeah, we're not upset at the way that they praise. I'm just saying, if you're confused about what music they're playing or the vibes that they're giving off, this is white people church, okay?
Spreading to 23 countries across the world, even filling the iconic Madison Square Garden in New York. But all that glitters ain't gold. With a wave of scandals hitting the organisation, both in Australia.
Founder of Hillsong Church, Brian Houston, has this afternoon been charged for allegedly concealing child sex offences.
Woo! Y'all heard what they said, concealing child offenses.
Broad.
The affair that brought down Hillsong Church celebrity pastor Carl Lynn.
When you give somebody so much power, they become
So look,
God to
this
people.
is celebrity pastor Carl Lentz, who is of the Hillsong. This is his mistress, okay? And we speak about how these women love embarrassing men. I say it all the time. These women love embarrassing these men who have a public platform. You slept with the man. You was laying down with him. And now you going and giving interviews? Because Carl Lentz, he probably promised her, yo, baby, I'm going to make you a star. Like, we're going to be stars in Christ. And we're just, I got your ticket to heaven and this, that, and the third. Yeah, I mean, he sold her the dream. Okay. The fact of the matter is, these women are going to talk. And I hate to say it, but unless you pay them off, unless you, $2,500 every time or something, you shut up, sign a NDA, whatever. Like, that's why a lot of these dudes, they move the way that they move. Now, I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do and that's what you should do. But at this point, if you're at this level and you want to have discreet relations, I mean, you might have, it pains me to say, but you might as well, man. You might as well.
Tonight, we uncover new disturbing behaviour within the Australian church. Young women violated.
And he pulled down my pants and my underwear. And he raped me at church.
Damn. So these dudes is like, yo, shorty, da-da-da-da, come to church, Like, yo, this is different.
And he grabbed me and put his hands like all around my waist, in between my legs, touching my crotch and my butt.
But what's almost as bad as the abuse is Hillsong's response. In some cases, protecting and still employing the men responsible.
Well, what they have done is engage in a textbook case of defending the organization rather than caring for a victim.
And this is common, they have to defend the face of the organization. They have to make sure that the movement is not defamed by these allegations. And it's still like, this is how clueless a lot of these chicks are. Like, they still are repping Hillsong. A lot of these chicks out here, especially these white chicks, they're still out here repping Hillsong. Okay? When we've seen that the leadership has been corrupted. So, is the church going to be able to survive? Yeah, of course. They will. And that's the crazy part is, yeah, they're going to keep eating. They're good.
I don't care how you dress. I don't care what type of music you play.
I don't even care as much about the messages you preach. If the least of those in your congregation and your community are not protected and not advocated for when they get hurt, then don't call yourself a church, because Jesus was all about that.
And today we're going to be taking you on a facilities tour of Hillsong College at the Hills campus.
Like every arm of Hillsong, the church's big, shiny college in suburban Sydney has a slick promotional video touting its wares.
Right now, we are in Hillsong College's state-of-the-art television studio.
It's become a destination not just for students from around Australia, but internationally as well. American Anna Crenshaw moved to Sydney to study at Hillsong College in 2016, drawn to the church's vibrant energy. How would you describe the Hillsong community at that time?
In the beginning, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, a lot of energy, just meeting new people and new friends from all around the world, and in Australia. It was really cool.
There was a strong social life for the young community at Hillsong College, but that friendly feeling was shattered in 2016 when Anna was at a gathering of several church members, including Jason Mays, a married Hillsong administrator.
All right, so Jason Mays, the first perpetrator, and let's see if we can, so I'm gonna try and find his Instagram, social media, whatnot, or maybe just pictures of his life to kind of show you, who he was with, who his girl was. Let's see if we can find his wife and just kind of make sense of this whole situation. I don't know. I'm not really getting no good results on Google, but apparently his wife. Oh, they talking about, they got him though. I'm looking on Google and it looks like they pretty much, like, he got hella hit pieces written about him. But I can't find any official social media. I can't find any official social media, but at the end of the day, we don't really need to know all that. They showed y'all the picture.
Jason Mays.
This is Buddy right here. As you can see, he looked kind of woke. Okay. He looked like he's super woke, like he would be one of those soy boys, if you will. Okay. And he's using his position in the church to get shorties. Now, if he was doing it off the strength, off the muscle, okay, cool. But for one, it's like, bro, you ended up getting married, and now you out here trying to deal with these church girls. You're taking L's, bro. Because especially if your marriage is public and everybody know, like I said, man, you're better off dealing with hookers and high-class escorts or whatever you want to call it. These dudes is risking a life for the WAP, bro. These are the types of dudes who join OnlyFans, who are paying for these shorties OnlyFans. These are the types of dude who are leaving hard eyes in the comments. I told y'all, we go to the comment section in a lot of these Explore page, shorties pages, and these are the guys in there, okay? These are the guys in there.
A married Hillsong administrator.
I was sitting at a table next to my good friend, and then Jason was sitting at the end of the table. And through the night, then he moved and sat next to me alongside of the table. And that's when he put his hand on my thigh. And at that point, I just froze and didn't know what to do.
Feeling extremely uncomfortable, Anna decided to leave. But then Jason groped her.
So he was still sitting and I was standing next to him getting ready to walk out, and he grabbed me and put his hands like all around my waist, in between my legs, touching my crotch and my butt, and he lifted up my shirt and was kissing my stomach like, don't go. And then I was trying to pull away from him, and then I did get away, and he was stumbling out the door trying to follow us, and he was saying, I want to go with you. I want to go with you guys.
Begging to be with the shorties. Begging. Man, I mean, we speak about this to ad nauseum on this channel. Even though YouTube is trying to suppress the content is good, and it's there, for you guys to go back. And, you know, most likely I'm going to have to take all those uploads and upload them to my OnlyFans, and we'll do the thing over there. But you have to understand that, man, these dudes, they're willing to do anything for the WAP. And this is where simping goes wrong. Because he's thinking he's having a conversation, talking her up, putting his hand on her thigh, like, bro, doing the most. Okay? That's why I tell you guys, keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Let her choose.
Do you have any doubt about what he was trying to do?
No, I think it's evident where he was heading and what he was.
But, you know, we're not victim blaming, of course. But I want you to look at her face. It seemed like she was flattered that he made that advance at her. Obviously, she's a lot less. I mean, obviously, like, at least he didn't, you know, do what the other girl said was done to her. But look at her face when he says, was there any question of what he was trying to do? It almost looked like she was, you know, happy that he tried her like that. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's evident.
Look at that. I mean, look at that smirk. I don't. I mean, what does that mean, guys? What do y'all think that means? Because to me, it's like the fact that she got the validation that he just like wanted her so bad that he was pushing on so heavy. Made her smirk, made her feel good about herself in a way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying what he did was right, but I'm talking about her body language.
Doubt about what he was trying to do?
No, I think it's evident where he was heading and what he was thinking.
Anna felt violated and didn't know what to do. Eventually, though, in 2018, she decided to tell Hillsong's leadership about the incident. But she says she didn't feel supported and claims that after 3 months, they still hadn't even bothered to question the alleged offender, Jason Mays. On top of that, bizarrely, Jason's wife was then appointed Anna's new church leader.
You know, I felt like I was the one who was in trouble, not him.
So they appointed his wife as the new church leader. They handled it all wrong. Apparently, she told the leadership of the church why she didn't go straight to the police. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just like, why not just go straight to the police? You tell the pastor about an employee who's working for him. It just don't make sense.
I felt like I was doing the right thing by coming forward, but they made it into like an issue that I was bringing up for no reason in their opinion.
5 months after reporting the assault to Hillsong, a despondent Anna reached out to her dad, who is himself a pastor at his own church back in Pennsylvania. When you boil it down, do you think Hillsong wanted Anna to be silenced?
No doubt. Hillsong Church would certainly rather not have this go public.
Ed Crenshaw was appalled when he learned about his daughter's assault and, more specifically, the inaction from Hillsong. Ed says it was only when he intervened that Hillsong finally handed the matter to police. Do you feel like if you hadn't have got involved, that Hillsong would have just swept this under the carpet and never involved police?
I have no doubt about that.
And my question is, bro, why couldn't why couldn't Shorty just go to the police? Like, why are y'all asking the church to go to the police? Like, that's kind of weird to me.
And even once the police were involved, they didn't fully cooperate. Everything is centered on trying to keep her story quiet for 5 months, to try to obscure it, to try to minimize it, and to try to get Anna, I think, ultimately to drop it.
Jason Mays was eventually charged with indecent assault and pleaded guilty when the case came before the court.
He honestly, to plea out, you know, obviously, okay, cool. It's good that he got justice, but to plea out, like, bruh, I mean, he really could have beat it, no cap. I don't know how the courts in Australia are, but you know, if they got the money like that and they could have put some lawyers behind it, he really could have beat it. So the plea out, this shows you that he did that shit.
Here in Penrith, given the Hillsong employee had now finally admitted to assaulting a young female student at the church's college, Anna Crenshaw assumed he would lose his job. She was wrong. In your mind, did you think, okay, that's it, surely Hillsong has to cut ties with him now?
I thought so, but...
So Shorty was trying to get him fired, definitely. And yeah, he definitely came on too strong, put the hand on the leg. Guys, I tell you guys to keep your hands to yourself. But should he have been fired for putting his hand on a leg? I don't know. I don't know what kind of dynamic they had to fire him. If he already got hit with the charge, he takes the L. I don't know, man.
Then I found...
For the church, though, yeah, you got to do it for the church. But for a regular job, put him in a new department if he's productive. That's the game.
Out from LinkedIn that he was given a better job during that time.
According to a statement from Hillsong, Jason Mays was given a second chance because despite his guilty plea, some other people did not fully corroborate Anna's version of events. They further said, one of the cornerstones of our biblical beliefs as Christians is forgiveness and redemption. It is important Jason is allowed this as well. However,
hey, y'all heard what he said. I mean, he's speaking about the core beliefs of the faith. They said he should be forgiven. I mean, you can't be mad at it, especially when a lot of these chicks is out here saying, don't judge me for my past. What I did in the past doesn't matter of what, I mean, they keep in that same energy.
But the Crenshaws believe Jason Mays was given preferential treatment because his father is Hillsong's head of human resources. What message does that send to other people within Hillsong?
Damn, so his dad is the head of HR. So he the one who's supposed to be doing the firing and the gatekeeping, if you will, of the employees. And they moved him. They allegedly elevated his position in the church. I mean, hey, man, these dudes, they don't play fair. They don't play fair. Okay. Black Ken says you got to let her break the touch barrier. You got to let her push for the intercourse. Let her be the aggressor. Keep all text and contact recorded, etc. Protect yourself. Exactly, guys. Like, was there some type of situation to where they might have had a connection? I don't know. But the church said that some of the people there didn't corroborate the story. Even though he pled guilty, which was a foolish move to make, in my opinion. Because it's like, where's the proof? You know, he touched Shorty's thigh. How are you going to prove that? I mean, come on, G. Pleading out was some weak shit, to be honest.
I think as the father of a Hillsong College student, it says you can send your students to our college, but don't count on us to take care of them.
And all this does is just strengthen the grape culture allegations on college campuses. When we all know that like, bro, I'm on a college campus. These shorties be walking around freely late at night, 2, 4 a.m., no problems.
And I think that's a horrendous message.
Is it a case of rules for some?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jason Mays is part of an elite culture where it's rules for thee, but not for me.
The decision to shelter Jason Mays upset a number of people within the Hillsong community, so church leader Brian Houston tried to clear the air. Houston, you might remember, is close friends with Prime Minister Scott Morrison.
You know, you just walk the path that God gives you.
A friendship that turned controversial last year when the PM tried to take Houston with him to a dinner at the White House. But when it came to the Jason Mays scandal, it was the Hillsong leader preaching diplomacy, reassuring staff that everything had been handled appropriately.
One thing I do know is we're not talking about a sexual predator here. We're talking about a young man, young married man, who did something stupid.
Bruh should have just, at this point, he should have hit up one of these Instagram explore page babes of the day. And look, bruh, if you watch my channel, you could have just hit him up in the DM, said, boot out straight up. And you would have been good money.
But much drunker than he should, which is an issue we've got to keep addressing. And got himself in a bad situation. That's it.
He got drunk and pressed up. Guys, you got to control your liquor. If you are a party person and you like going crazy and this, that, and the third, you got to control yourself, man. As men, you got to do everything to protect your image and your likeness because these shorties will use that against you.
But if you think that response was tone deaf, what Houston did next was even more outrageous. To deflect attention, he took to Twitter to share that Anna had also been abused as a child at the Father's Church in Pennsylvania.
So he kind of points out something that, you know, possibly would have been made a point in court. And he says that Shorty had been abused in another church in Pennsylvania. So, you know, it shouldn't be a problem. And he might have done this to discredit Shorty. Okay. He might have done this to discredit her. Let's read the tweet. Just said it's a sad story. A number of things in this article are factually wrong, but abuse is never okay. My understanding is that Anna was originally abused in her father's church in Pennsylvania. That makes it sadder. Whether abuse happens in Pennsylvania or Australia is tragic. Yo, I mean, it looked like he was fighting back at what the article said, but definitely tone deaf. And, you know, social media is going, obviously he had to delete the tweets, but they were going to crucify him.
To deflect attention, he took to Twitter to share that Anna...
And Black Ken, he does make a great point. It's messed up as it is, but he says those be the freaks, the one who've been abused. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Not saying that that gives you a reason to press up heavy on her, but, you know, when you deal with girls who have been through traumatic things, a lot of the times they cope with, you know, having intercourse. Okay, so that's the drug to them because it comes easily.
Anna had also been abused as a child at her father's church in Pennsylvania. The Hillsong leader quickly realised the error of his ways and deleted the tweet. He admitted to his mistake, saying, "I foolishly included information that was wrong for me to share. To rightfully be more respectful of privacy, I deleted my comment. I apologise for any pain I have caused. I know better. and will do better.
The tweet, while it was hurtful, it did just show everyone the attitude that I had been receiving from Hillsong for the past few years. And I think that apologizing just for the tweet without any apology for what has happened and what I've been through is very shallow apology.
So let me get this straight. Buddy, honestly, I don't even, it's hard to say, but I don't even know if there is a definitive culture of this type of behavior at Hillsong, or they're just bad at PR,
Sadly, Anna's story is not unique. Since going public, she's been contacted by a number of other former Hillsong members who claim the church is more worried about protecting the brand than protecting its people.
Here we go. Here we go. Now everybody's coming out the woodwork. Guys, you got to protect your house. You have to protect your house. You can't be making these mistakes with these shorties, man. You got to, especially if you're having consensual intercourse, for real. Like when you're out here and you're doing well, you got to make sure you leave them on a good foot, on a good note. You know what I mean?
And then after he was done, he just pulled up his pants and he just left without saying a word.
Hillsong has 30 churches in Australia. Not your traditional stuffy old buildings, but modern facilities like its Melbourne East campus that attract a modern young crowd. This woman, who we'll call Catherine, was one of the thousands drawn to what she thought was an energetic congregation that reflected her lifestyle. I'd imagine early days, it was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was making some great friends and I was having the time of my life being a youth leader. And I love God. I'm a Christian. I love the church. And so to be able to help out like that was super fun at the beginning.
But one night in 2018, when Catherine was a volunteer at Hillsong, she stayed back late with the male worshipper to help pack up after a Bible study class. What happened next?
Y'all heard what he said. Shorty stayed back late to help pack up after a Bible study class. I went to church for a long time. And, you put a few chairs up. I know Hillsong is a huge church. So it's going to take more than two people unless they have like a different room that they go in for the Bible study, a smaller room. But Shorty stayed back to help clean up after Bible study. I mean, guys, you can't, at this point, you got to be like, if you're the guy in that situation, no, I got it. I'm good. No, but I really want to, no, I'm good. I don't know what's up with Buddy right here who did what he did, but I mean, you don't want to be in these positions where you're left alone with these shorties, bro. In a position where something like this can happen. Now, obviously, he went crazy. You know what I mean? Apparently, from what she's saying. But it's wild, man. It's wild because on one end, yeah, we feel bad for the victim. And then on the other end, you say, hey, a lot of these dudes who are in these high positions should not be putting themselves in a position where they're alone with these shorties. Who ain't they wife or they girl or something like that. Because, I mean, obviously what Buddy did is inexcusable. But at the same time, let's just act. I don't know if he got convicted of this, so I don't want to definitively say that he did this. But if he didn't do it, this is the perfect opportunity for someone to come out and say, oh, yeah, he did do something.
Has left her traumatized ever since. She claims she was raped by a fellow Hillsong member.
And he closed the door and he turned off the lights. And I said, what are you doing? Are you okay? And then he
So he closed the door, turned off the lights. She said, what are you doing? Are you okay? You know, and I'm not saying what she should have said in this situation, but we don't know what happened, okay? We don't know what happened. We're going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that he took the walk. But we're also going to look from it from a perspective as if it possibly could have been a situation where it was consensual, because we don't know.
He grabbed my hair.
And Black Ken makes a great point, but I'm going to get to that after she speaks.
He just pushed me onto this office chair, and I said, what are you doing? Like,
so he grabbed her hair and pushed her onto the office chair. And then she goes, what are you doing?
Stop. No, like, this isn't happening.
So she said, stop. No, that's when you cut it out. That's when you gotta it's done. You know what I mean?
Because in that moment, I knew what was going to happen. And he pulled down my pants and my underwear. And he raped me.
Okay, so she said this is what he did. Straight up. She said he pulled down the joints and went to work. Okay? So we're gonna go by what she says. Like I said, I don't know if Buddy was convicted. I just saw the story, but let's keep going.
In our events office at church. Sorry.
So in the events office at church, and then she's gonna disclose something else that I want you guys to pay attention to.
A church must be the last place you would expect something like this to happen.
I had no reason to think that I wasn't going to be safe. It was really violent. It was just completely filled with like anger.
So, she's crying, but I don't see the tears. You know, like I said, I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm just trying to pay attention to some of these social cues and body language.
And rage and like just hatred. It was just the scariest thing I've
So she's saying he went all the way in like crazy, rabid strokes.
ever experienced in my whole life, because he was so much bigger than me. And then after he was done, he just pulled up his pants and he just left without saying a word.
So, guys, what can you learn from this? She said stop no. If she really said stop no and she didn't want it to go down, we're going to go from both perspectives. So say he did it. Yeah, you can't do that, bro. That's an L. He should be locked up. But let's say that it's a gray area, okay? And let's say that they had a vibe. She stayed back after Bible study because she was digging his vibe. And what he did, he took the opportunity, clapped the cheeks, okay? He took the opportunity to clap the cheeks, and afterwards, he left without saying anything. This is where you guys got to take a page out of Derek Jeter's book. Derek Jeter used to give shorties gift baskets and all this stuff. Bro, if y'all was going to do something like that, and apparently this was her first time, and there's two ways you can look at it. She could be like a disgruntled, he just papped and dipped. She could be upset that she got pumped and dumped, or it really could have went down like that. And he, done this to multiple girls and all types of stuff. You know what I mean?
felt really ashamed. I felt really guilty. You know, I was a virgin, and that was the only sexual experience that I had ever had, and it was non-consensual. And I just wanted to pretend it didn't happen.
So that's also a problem too. The trying to pretend it didn't happen and, you know, trying to avoid the situation. In order to really serve the justice that should have been served, Shorty should have went directly to the police immediately afterwards. But to me, it always seems like, yo, that opens it up for gray area and interpretation. Obviously, we want to be sensitive to the victim and give them the benefit of the doubt. But then in the legal system, we have to give the accused the benefit of the doubt as well. And apparently, Buddy is not making statements on these situations because you can't really admit to clapping the cheese, because then it's like, oh, so you did have sex. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to say nothing.
Spent several weeks trying to forget the attack, but eventually...
E-Love says probably got caught having intercourse in the church. Will says, I can't tell if she lying, but if she is right, that's messed up. And if she lying, then she probably mad he clapped and that it was in a church and she felt like God was going to be on her head. Yeah, that's a possibility too. Like she could have, you know, felt some type of way that he clapped the cheeks and then walked out without saying nothing. Because, you know, one time, like I was dealing with this girl and then I like, you know, we had smashed before, but then like one time, like I smashed her and like I didn't kiss her or whatever. And then she was like, yo, you just smashed me and didn't even kiss me. Like what? And she was upset about that. So, you know, like you really got to be careful in these situations, because what is consensual in the moment can be taken back or withdrawn immediately after.
The emotional torment was just too much. So she says she reported the incident.
Black Ken says call the police on the spot or have a friend call the cops. Anything outside of that is cap. Hey, man, I mean, that's the line of thinking that I, you know, rule with as well. But like I said, I do want to bring some sensitivity to this situation. But I just dropped my banners, guys. I should have did it in the beginning of the show, but I just dropped my banners. We're halfway through. I'm going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with the presentation.
If you want to see exclusive raw and uncut videos of Quarantino Da GAWD exposing and explaining how to bang OnlyFans chicks, cam girls, and other adult content creators and then toss them to the wayside, look no further. For only $9.99 a month, you too can become the Slore Slayer you were always meant to be. All you have to do is subscribe to my OnlyFans, and you can unlock the skills that it takes to bang adult models on a consistent and regular basis. Are you scared to talk to that bartender at your local pub? Or afraid to lock eyes with the HBIC in your local titty bar? Want to know how to build up the courage to engage in conversation with that hot Hooters waitress with the tight ass that you always order the 6-piece all flats naked wings with? All you have to do is click the link to my OnlyFans in the description box below. Tino Gang.
All right, we're back in here. TSS says, right, I guess because I'm not a woman, so I can't relate. But if something bad happened to me, the first thing I'm doing is telling my peeps. Yeah, definitely. E-Love says, post-play is as important as foreplay. Don't let her take the walk of shame. Yo, that was a great point. That was a great point. TSS says, yo, Tino, get a crypto wallet, man. I'm not in the States, so can't donate via Cash App. Get Coinbase and get a Doge address or Litecoin. I got Coinbase, bro. So I don't know how you can directly donate to my Coinbase, but maybe I'll figure that out afterwards.
Catherine spent several weeks trying to forget the attack, but eventually the emotional torment was just too much. So she says she reported the incident to a youth pastor. This is a very serious incident that you're telling them about.
So hold on. You know, I really want to be fair in this situation and not just be like, oh, he ain't do it, free my nigga. Like, you know what I mean? But she reported the incident to a youth pastor instead of the police. Just like the other girl reported it to a church official. Like, bro, what's wrong? Like, if you're in the church and say a deacon took the WAP, okay? Are you reporting that to the pastor? I'm talking about for my black folks who've been in a black church. If one of the ushers took the WAP, are you reporting that to the pastor or are you going to the police? I'm thrilled about that one. I'm a little thrilled about that one.
This a very serious incident that you're telling them about. What was their response?
He wouldn't let me speak. I walked into there and I said, something really bad has happened. I'm visibly upset. I'm shaking. I can't breathe. I'm crying. I'm hysterical in front.
So she reported it. Okay, I mean, she went to him straight after. Okay, cool. She went to him straight after. You know, I'm not mad at it. Okay, I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean?
Of this man, and I'm like, he grabbed
But still, if she would have went straight to the police, yo, he would have been arrested like that.
me, he hurt me, he did it, he touched me, and I was just going on. And every time I would say a word, he would say, that's not for my ears to hear. That's not for my ears to hear. You go sort that out with him. That's not for my ears to hear.
Catherine says that Hillsong leader made her feel like she was the problem, telling her she needed to focus on repairing relationships. She was so upset by that lack of support that in 2019, she decided to leave the church.
When the institution, I don't care whether it's Hillsong or any other church, when their first response seems to be more focused on protecting the institution than the vulnerable, wounded person, that is a problem, not just for any institution, but for an institution that claims to follow Jesus.
Boz Javigian is the grandson of famed American evangelist Billy Graham.
Christ belongs to all people.
Boz now works as an attorney for survivors of sexual abuse. He advised Anna Crenshaw in her case against Hillsong after the young American student was indecently assaulted in Sydney by a Hillsong staff member.
Black Ken says they want to destroy his character and get him fired and get revenge. It's spiteful. It's not about justice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it was about justice, they would have went straight to the police, but they want to get him fired. That is, you know, they want to end his livelihood. They don't want to see him flexing in Lambos and new Mercedes Benzes and G-Wagons and double R trucks. They don't want to see that, okay? So they are going straight for his pockets.
Boz says he sees a pattern of behaviour in the way the Australian-based church goes about its business, trying to either silence or intimidate those who speak out about suffering within the organisation. In Anna's matter, Hillsong eventually commissioned a law firm to carry out what was supposed to be an independent investigation. But
bruh, what is these people's problem with the police? An independent organization, or this or that. Like, bruh, go to the police. What are y'all doing? I'm hiring a lawyer to get an independent. See, that's all this fugazi around the way, like all that makes me start. I mean, did it really happen? It makes me start questioning. I don't like the way that they're, oh, I'm going to go to the church leader, and then I'm going to go to this person, and then I'm going to go to an independent lawyer, and then I'm going to hire a private investigator to, like, bruh, once the shit happens, go to the police, get a grape kit done, and boom, he's done. He's over. It's over. It's done. I don't get it. I really don't get that part.
Boz claims it was more of a PR exercise designed to protect Hillsong's reputation. Specifically, he alleges that law firm was less about independence and more about intimidation.
Just because you call something independent doesn't make it so. This is the law firm that's allegedly conducting this investigation. Underneath their signature line, it states, the most feared law firm in the world. That's how this law firm, who's supposedly going to engage in an independent and an objective investigation into Anna's claims, you tell me what sexual abuse survivor is going to feel comfortable participating in a process that's led by an organization that defines itself in that way.
Okay, so the church actually hired a private investigator. Okay, cool. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, bro, I just don't understand why these shorties didn't go to the police. To me, it's like, I don't know.
Given what you've seen in Anna's case, would you feel comfortable sending?
At least have the police report on record so you can say if the police didn't do nothing, then you can chastise them afterwards about not, believing the victims and all that kind of stuff.
Your children to study with Hillsong in Australia?
No. Absolutely not. Anna Crenshaw, when she moved to Australia as a young person, was no doubt a vulnerable person. And she wasn't protected, and she certainly wasn't cared for.
When Catherine heard about Anna's story, she mustered up the courage to share her own experiences on social media. And with those claims now being aired publicly for the first time, all of a sudden, Hillsong's leaders cared a lot more about what she had to say.
And after I posted that, I got contacted by Hillsong asking if I would sit down with them and have a chat about whatever it is that happened to me.
The impression I get from hearing that is that Hillsong didn't really care about your story until you started speaking publicly about it, and then they wanted to get on top of it.
I mean, if she told one person and he didn't do nothing, and then she went straight to the authorities, they would have been forced to care. But guess where she went? Guess where she went? Social media. I'm not saying that this did not happen to her, but what I am saying is that she's used it. She has used this situation. You can't say, because she on 60 Minutes Australia, this joint got 1 million views. She used it to get more notoriety on the story and for herself. I'm not saying she's a clout chaser by any stretch of the means, but it's just funky to me that where is the police involvement? Where is the law enforcement involvement? Jeez, man. Keith says, in the black church, historically, unfortunately, offenses such as these that are alleged are not often reported to the police. This is done as not to bring negative attention to the church. Alpha Zoe says, the more people you involve, more proper authorities, the more manipulation and covering up can be done. Will says, even snitches that know there are penalties of telling are 100% ready to take the stand, like against murderers and drug lords. Facts. That was a great point too. Alpha Zoe says they never go to the police or tell the right people. And in some instances, they wait 10, 20, 50 years to finally speak up. But, I felt traumatized all this time. He also mentions Wilt Chamberlain just got Me Too'd and he been dead for decades. Yeah. Wilt Chamberlain did get Me Too'd and a woman said that he took the WAP. But Wilt Chamberlain has smashed over 20,000 shorties. So why would he have to take number 19,999's WAP if 19,000 other shorties gave it, Alpha Zoe also says, I just did a project on how people won't report crimes or abuse to the police, but will jump straight on TikTok and social media to accuse. Exactly.
That is exactly what happened.
And the reason why they do that is, like we said earlier, they want to take your livelihood and they want to embarrass the man. Okay. So it's more about embarrassment, public shame than him actually, sitting down
about it. And then they wanted to get on top of it.
That is exactly what happened. They do not care at all about the fact that I was assaulted. They just care about who I'm going to tell or what I'm going to do about it and how that will affect them.
So almost 3 years after Catherine first told a Hillsong pastor and was shut down, she was finally heard. At last, Hillsong reported the alleged rape to police.
Y'all see how they got her B-roll? They said, just strut, honey. Just work it. Work that bridge right there and just, you know, do your best strut. Like, come on, G. They really piping this up. Honestly.
Told a Hillsong pastor and was shut down, she was finally heard. At last, Hillsong reported the alleged rape to police.
Hillsong reported it to the police. But why didn't she report it to the police? This is what has me throwed. So we got the first girl who there was no penetration, but he went too far. He simped heavy. He touched her leg. I mean, it's messed up. It's not what you should do. We teach against that over here. But at the same time, I mean, it ain't really, it's also, you know, people are gonna, a lot of chicks is probably gonna be upset that I say it, but also a dude touching your leg, honestly, if you was able to boom, smack it off, obviously you can tell everybody, and he's known for touching shorty's legs and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, is it really that big of a deal? Now, her specifically, yo, this one is wild. If that joint happened, if Buddy took the whop and it was just, you know, the way that she said it, it's OV, okay? Inexcusable. But at the same time, why didn't either of these shorties tell the police? Why didn't they go to the police? And you can't say that she wasn't trying to snitch or she, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't trying to do this. She wasn't trying to do that. You can't say that. And I'm also not saying that Hillsong isn't weird either, because I think they're definitely weird.
I want my abuser to never, ever, ever have the chance to be able to do that to another person again. And I also want Hillsong and the pastor that I told to be held accountable for not doing anything about my abuse after being told that I was abused. And I want to make sure that they can never, ever, ever hide anyone else's abuse.
So, you know, I agree with her. If they out here doing the mischievous and the devious, then they definitely need to be held accountable. My thing is, you could have cut all this out by, you know, going to the police. But I think she kind of held it and she kind of maneuvered in a way that it would have gotten more attention, maybe. I don't know.
There are growing concerns about Hillsong's culture, not just at its churches in Australia, but overseas too, particularly in the United States, where the organisation...
Hold on, so y'all see, hold on. Y'all see Jay-Z, KD with, I don't know who this is, but one of these Hillsong guys. Y'all see Justin Bieber with Carl Lentz, or I guess that's who it is, Carl Lentz. And we're going to get into the Carl Lentz situation because his situation is definitely fishy. And he honestly, he didn't do nothing too crazy, but, you know, he was probably like aiding and abetting and whatnot in these types of situations. But he just got exposed for cheating on his wife, which is wrong. But, you know, at the end of the day, he making that bread, he making that money like that. Yeah, you gonna have some extramarital affairs. That's just, anybody is gonna go and step out if they making millions off of the church. I don't care who you are.
But overseas too, particularly in the United States, where the organisation's at times celebrity-obsessed mindset has upset many members.
Justin, this is your second.
So y'all see Justin Bieber laying his head on this nigga's shoulder. Like, this man is straight sleeping on Buddy's shoulder. So it's like these dudes, they might be butt buddies for real. Like they might be bunking, shacking it up. Like that's what that's the type of vibe it gives off to me. So this dude is definitely screwed up.
Time at Hillsong Conference. Yes. And what's
you could tell Justin Bieber high as hell.
Different this time about being here?
I just think my faith grows every day. So my faith is stronger than 2 years ago. Better, stronger, wiser, kinder.
The fuck is he talking about?
Hey guys, welcome back. We're here at Hillsong.
Hillsong Church is no stranger to celebrity members, and perhaps none more famous than pop sensation Justin.
Look, he's high. He's high. He's high. I mean, he's off some type of ecstasy, maybe Molly. He's geeked up.
Bieber.
That's why I just want to love people more. I just want to love Carl more.
You're doing a good job with that.
So, man.
Justin, this is your second time at Hillsong.
Y'all heard that gay ass shit? I just want to love people more. I just want to love Carl more. You're my man. Y'all heard that gay ass shit?
Sensation Justin Bieber.
That's why I just want to love people more. I just want to love Carl more.
You're doing a good job with that.
So, man.
Justin, this is your second time at Hillsong Conference. Yes. And
these niggas is straight hoes.
What's different this time about being here?
I just think my faith grows every day. So my faith is stronger than 2 years ago.
And Justin Bieber sound like he writing a bullshit paragraph. My faith, like a bullshit paragraph to get out of Bible study. My faith grows every day. You know, my faith in God grows every day, and my faith, and you know, my faith is getting better. Like, come on, G.
My faith grows every day.
The only word this nigga know out the Bible is faith.
So my faith is stronger than 2 years ago. Better, stronger, wiser, kinder.
The man Bieber is snuggling up to is Carl Lentz, then the head of Hillsong's New York chapter.
I pray for fresh fire in this room. I pray for fresh grace in this room, Lord. May people write.
Hillsong's head office in Sydney had grand plans for New York. As the saying goes, if you can make it there, you'll make it anywhere.
New York, they were meeting at like a nightclub. I think that Hillsong New York City fed off that energy, right? Like, we're different, we're so cool, we're so edgy, you know, nobody else has church in a club, and that was really talked about a lot, you know what I mean?
So they meeting up in the nightclub, and this is when the secular meets the church world. And they do it in the black church too, when they try and mix like rap songs with church songs and change the lyrics. It's the same thing, except that's the low budget version. These dudes, they rent out a whole club, probably 100 racks to rent the club out for the night. Yeah, I mean, they spent some big money to rent the clubs out in New York.
Prayer meets party.
Right, exactly.
Megan Fallon started attending Hillsong New York in 2011.
God will bless you in areas you didn't even know you wanted to be blessed.
But she soon realized this was a church where leaders had a rock star-like reputation and the spending habits to match. As nanny for one of the senior pastor's families, she saw firsthand how donations to the church made in good faith by members were then blown on corporate credit cards.
It was constantly going out to dinner, nice lunches, breakfast, anything. So like if me and you went out right now and got dinner and we talked about church once, we could expense that on the church card, right?
And let's keep it a buck. All entrepreneurs do that. All entrepreneurs do that. Every lunch is a business meeting. Every dinner is a business meeting. I'm not saying, well, I don't do that because that's commingling funds. But most entrepreneurs out here are doing that.
So, I mean, you were being paid a pittance. How galling was it to then see all these church leaders who, you know, were dripping in designer brands and going out and living the high life?
Yeah, I mean, it really hurt. And I actually so I got paid it comes out to about $4, but that's on the high end of some of the nannies that worked for the pastors. Like some of my friends are like, wow, you're hitting big. And so it's really terrible. We're like scrubbing their toilets and taking care of their kids when they're out, you know. It was hard.
Megan says there was a clear delineation between the Hillsong elite, who hung out with celebrity friends, and the everyday members like her, who she believes were exploited.
Celebrity was like built into the culture there, you know, Justin Bieber or Selena Gomez or, you know, basketball players, like it was in the culture.
A church is a place of worship. It sounds like the leaders there at Hillsong worshipped celebrity.
Yeah, at first it's exciting and, you know, really cool. It's this thing that you buy into. And then when you look at it on the outside, it's like, wow, it's like actually really ridiculous.
After seeing the inner workings of Hillsong, Megan says she and several others raised concerns about the culture to church leaders, but they were quickly dismissed. So in 2014, she quit.
The Holy Spirit can do that. Come on, somebody.
But the rot continued to set in for years under the watch of Carl Lentz, the leader of Hillsong New York. That was until late last year when scandal engulfed the church, with allegations some male leaders were having inappropriate sexual relations with young female members and other reports of extramarital affairs.
So it sounds like in the New York chapter, they was getting it off the muscle. They was getting it off the strength. They didn't have to take no WAP.
He said, among you, there must not even be a hint of sexual immorality.
He was one of the country's best-known pastors, but this Thanksgiving, instead of healing a congregation, Carl Lentz is working on damage control.
Lentz was sacked by Hillsong for what it described as moral failings, as he admitted to cheating on his wife with his...
So when you lead in the church, especially out of New York, and you got a whole bunch of these quote unquote Christian women coming to church, they definitely trying to pop that WAP for the preacher. Okay. And his wife, although she's a beautiful woman, you know, he's making all that money. He's out here. Like I said, at this point, you got the bread. You might as well pay for it. You might as well pay for the discretion, because you're not finna have no regular relationship and these shorties ain't finna talk about it. They're going to talk about you just because of the position that you in.
His mistress going public.
When you give somebody so much power.
So look at the mistress. Hello, red flags. All the piercings in her ear. The choker, the necklace. You could tell she was a freak. I mean, come on, G. Come on. Like, what? Why are you even going public? Oh, did he tell you he was going to leave his wife and marry you? Like, bro, fell for the oldest trick in the book, and now she's salty and going public.
They become God to people.
Like, it'll be different if, like, she was coming with some grape allegations or something like that. But this man, he was beating your back out, and you was good with it. And now, oh, since all the allegations come out, now you come in public.
Going public.
When you give somebody so much power, they become God to people.
She ain't shit.
And I think people forgot the concept of religion and beliefs.
What about you? You were sleeping with a married man. What about you, sister?
And I think people forgot the concept of religion and beliefs.
Not bad.
And I think that people look at Carl like he's God to them.
After Carl Lentz was fired, Hillsong opened an investigation into the culture of its New York church. But a number of its current and former members say it's just another PR exercise.
For so long, myself and so many other people were meant to feel like we were the problem, you know? And so for this to come out, it kind of was like, wow, like we weren't the problem.
How would you sum up the culture within the church at Hillsong in New York?
Listen to the word choice.
I mean, when I was there, toxic.
Toxic. Is this not what we've talked about on this channel?
You know, Hillsong.
It's a trigger word. It's a punch word.
Sydney, Hillsong, Australia, definitely fueled that flame. Carl Lentz was totally Brian Houston's golden boy.
You know, somebody once told me something that it was very simple, but has stuck with me for many years. They said, the higher you go up in church leadership, the less likely you are to encounter Jesus. And I have to tell you, with great sadness, that's been my experience in the work I've done for the past 30 years. And something has to change.
Boz Javigian has spent his career holding many church leaders accountable in a court of law. He says when it comes to Hillsong's head honchos, both in Australia and abroad, some deep soul searching is required.
We've created a celebrity culture in the church. Pastors have become rock stars. Pastors oftentimes live in these big churches, live better than most of the people in their congregation. And you create that culture inside of a church that ultimately results in that pastor and those leaders becoming less and less accountable as they become more and more insulated. And that creates problems.
Do you believe that there is a genuine desire within Hillsong to get its act together?
I can tell you this, that you cannot begin looking at the future and planning for the future until you've properly addressed the past. If you love Jesus, then my goodness, start acting like him in the most important moments of life. And that is when you are approached by the hurting and wounded, stop everything you're doing and reach out and expend yourself for them. Isn't that what Jesus did over and over again? That's what the church should look like. And unfortunately, that's hard to find these days.
Hillsong rejected our request for an interview. We put several written questions to the church, and it issued a statement declaring our investigation was gutter journalism, adding Hillsong Church takes any claim of assault extremely seriously, and we allocate significant resources so that all can attend our services and events in a safe environment. But that's in stark contrast to the experiences of former Hillsong member Catherine, who's still trying to put her life back together following her time with the Australian megachurch. What do you think of Hillsong these days?
Hate is a very strong word, but it's the word that I would use. I hate Hillsong Church. It is not a safe place. I would discourage anyone and everyone from going there because it's not safe, whether you're a young person, whether you're an adult, whoever you are, it's not safe.
So y'all heard her. Hillsong ain't safe. She says she hated them. And that's where a lot of the fuel to the fire may have come from. A word of advice to these ladies. Go to the police, bruh. Just go to the police. You know, you'll save a lot of time and a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. If you go to the police, let them know what's goody. A lot of times they be keeping the accuser anonymous too.
Hello, I'm Tom Steinfort. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe.
Like, yeah, I don't know. But we had to do the expose on Hillsong because they ain't walking the walk, obviously. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And the truth lies in between both sides of the story. So I definitely wanted to cover that story, man. And I appreciate you guys who stayed the course with me. I'm definitely going to go live more on these different exposés. So we'll probably have a live stream tomorrow and we'll be exposing more of the female nature in general. But anyways, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Quarantino Da GAWD, man. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Send your relationship question to the email down below with a screenshot of your cash app so I know you paying your tithes, man. Y'all need to be on your mom freaking ding with the BS. It's your boy, Quarantino Da GAWD. I'm out.
If you want to see exclusive raw and uncut videos of Quarantino Da GAWD exposing and explaining how to bang OnlyFans chicks, cam girls, and other adult content creators and then toss them to the wayside, look no further. For only $9.99 a month, you too can become the floor slayer you were always meant to be. All you have to do is subscribe to my OnlyFans, and you can unlock the skills that it takes to bang adult models on a consistent and regular basis. Are you scared to talk to that bartender at your local pub? Or afraid to lock eyes with the HBIC in your local titty bar? Want to know how to build up the courage to engage in conversation with that hot Hooters waitress with the tight ass that you always order the 6-piece all flats naked wings with? All you have to do is click the link to my OnlyFans in the description